As you know, this company, from before it was ever founded, has had a great relationship with PragerU. PragerU started with a simple premise between Alan Estrin and Dennis Prager that if you gave them 5 minutes, they would give you an education. I love when the left gets angry and says, they're not a real university. You're damn right, you can trust your kids with them. Since its founding, PragerU videos have been viewed 5 billion times. Tonight, I'm proud to tell you that not only is the DailyWire continuing its relationship with PragerU, which means hosting their entire library behind our paywall to bring value to our subscribers and additional audience for PragerU. We're actually expanding our relationship. Right now, Prager is already in the business of giving you terrific 5-minute videos, giving you terrific kids content. They're one of the earliest companies into the space of making premium kids content for conservatives. But we're going to launch something behind our paywall only, a completely exclusive piece of content, a premium piece of content called the PragerU Masters Program. These will be highly produced, incredibly deep, 45-minute episodes featuring Dennis Prager himself, and he's here tonight to tell you a little bit about it.
Thank you.
Well, Dennis, it's been a long time in coming. First of all, well, thank you for being the second Jew in the state of Tennessee. But actually, yeah, I have a family history going back with you personally. Obviously, you were a formative person in my own parents' experience moving toward religiosity in Judaism, as you were for so many people moving toward deeper, more religious thought. And in your new PragerU Masterclass series for DW+, you're going to be taking the deepest issues, and you're going to be diving all the way down to the bottom in 45 minutes or less. So I'm going to give you like a few minutes right now to dive down to this question. What is the biggest moral crisis facing the country right now?
Secularization. I have devoted my life. Most conservatives don't agree with us or with me on this particular subject. Whenever I summarize my life's work, and I'll be 40 years on radio in August, and whenever I summarize it, I say, really, there has been one overwhelming theme: the consequences of secularism. Secularism is wonderful for government, it's wonderful for the sciences, and it's awful for the rest of life. And most conservatives don't know that. Many religious people don't know it, and certainly don't know how to make the case for it. But everything that we're seeing, all the chaos that we are seeing now, is a result of the death of God and the Bible as the most important book in American life. And now I want to tell you, Ben doesn't know this, and I can't think of a more appropriate place to say this. It's a very touching, tiny little story. You will all be moved, and even Ben, I can't bet on that, but... So I spoke in the Czech Republic about a year ago, exactly a year ago. I spoke to some young people in the Czech Republic, and a guy came over to me, a guy about 28 years old, and in front of all of those gathered, said as follows: I just want you to know, and I'm going to choke up saying it because my wife was present and we were all overwhelmed. And she said, and this guy said to me, just want you to know, Ben Shapiro brought me to conservatism and you brought me to God. that beautiful? And of course, my immediate reaction was, I didn't bring you to conservatives? No. That was a joke. It was a joke. Okay, but I thought, this is the Czech Republic. We're being heard. And it's important to me that kids and young people in the Czech Republic. I have a theory that Eastern Europe will save Western Europe in the final analysis, but that's another issue. Anyway, this project that I'm going to be doing with you, it's such a beautiful thing how much we work together. We have one employer, him. And we know, that is PragerU and DailyWire know, that if America fails, the world will be plummeted into a dark, cruel age. And that's a given. As I've said so often, if they really gave the Nobel Peace Prize to those who deserved it, the American Armed Forces would win it every year. So, Ben, the thought of doing this whole series of very intense, but obviously fascinating and even entertaining videos with you is one of the highlights of my life.
Well, we obviously feel the same, and we are so excited to have you on board. Now, Dennis, I feel like we've reached a point in American life. I would say 5 years ago, I may have been more pessimistic about where the country was than any time. And then during COVID, maybe even worse than that.
Right.
And now, I got to tell you, it feels like we're not seeing, the actual light at the end of the tunnel. It's starting to get a little lighter. It feels like we're on the upswing. It feels like finally, for the first time really in my adult lifetime, we are really beginning to win.
I do agree with that, but I do want to say something not to pour any cold water on that. That's a fact that we are beginning. But I want you to know, and I think you'll appreciate this, I'm asked all the time, so Dennis, are you optimistic or pessimistic? And this is not only the answer I give people, but it's what I believe. But of course, I tell people what I believe, so I shouldn't have had to add that. But in any event, I say, you know what? I'm not particularly interested in either optimism or pessimism. Because ironically, they both can serve a negative purpose. The optimist thinks everything will turn out well. Why fight? The pessimist thinks everything will turn out lousy. Why fight? I never ask if I'm optimistic or pessimistic. I ask, what do I have to do? And the answer is fight. That is the only question that matters. And I just... A moment that changed my life was standing at Normandy Beach and seeing all the gravestones of basically kids who were 20 years old being slaughtered by Nazi machine guns on the beach. And I think about them a lot. I took a vow that day, I did, to myself. If they could die for America and freedom, I could live for America and freedom. So that was the vow I took. But I raise it because of the pessimism-optimism question. I don't know if every guy getting on that beach was an optimist. They didn't ask, are they optimistic? They asked, what do I have to do? That's what we have to ask every day. What do I have to do? And the answer is clear: fight.
Dennis, this is the thing I think people love about you. It's one of the things that people love about us here at Daily Wire is that we're fighting, and we're trying to fight smart. It's not just about fighting,
right.
It's also about picking the right targets, it's about hitting the right targets, it's about being kind and cordial even while you're pummeling the wrong ideas. And this is something that you really are an expert in. Can you talk about the approach that conservatives should be using in trying to convince other people, because you've convinced millions of people into conservative, I mean, not as many as I have, but lots of people into conservatism.
The best answer I could give is a guy I met at Philadelphia Airport about 3 years ago. And being a guy and being heterosexual, I don't walk around thinking, is this guy handsome? So if I meet a guy who I think is handsome, he's handsome. So
Dennis,
the guy...
this is not Disney.
I'm sorry?
It's DailyWire Plus. This is not Disney.
Okay. I'm sorry. What can I tell you? I say what I think and sleep well as a result. So I meet this guy. I'm 6'4", he's 6'4", but he's thinner than me. And anyway, he comes over. Dennis Prager, it's a pleasure to meet you. It's wonderful. And I detect a very, very slight accent. And so I say, even though the left for some sick reason says it's wrong to ask people where they're from, I can't think of a more wonderful question to ask. It means I'm interested in you, right? Isn't that like a healthy question to ask? So I say to the guy, I said, sorry, I'm just curious, where are you from? And he says, Norway. So again, saying what I think, I go, you're a conservative in Norway? And his answer was awesome. He said, I don't know if I'm conservative. I'm just logical. That is it. That is the whole point. I have believed that if you just make logical points, logical and moral points, you will win anyone who is open to hearing you.
Well, folks, that's exactly what you're going to get at the Prager University Masterclass at DailyWire Plus, those logical arguments that you can hand to all your friends, all the people you work with. You are going to become a person who's now a warrior and a messenger for all of the messages that Dennis has been pushing. And Dennis, I got to say, it's such an honor and a pleasure to finally be officially working with you here at DailyWire Plus.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Thank you all. I look forward. All right, great.
And folks,
thank you again. Thank you. Thank you.